Alright, here we've got Citizen Sleeper, being played on Xbox One, courtesy of the publisher. So we're at a new game here. So we can play with the character class of Operator, or with the option of doing the Extractor. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from the distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Perk Transfer Intercept, chance to gain cryo on interface actions. Those are the skills they have. The Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to Extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. Perk Photosynthetic Skin, Sunbathed Dice action allows energy recovery at home, and those are the skills there. I'll go ahead and play as the, let's do the Extractor here. Okay, so it's going to load up here. Something I didn't consider, the fact that this is actually a visual novel. I thought it was going to be a cool RPG, and then I got the code, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. It's actually a visual novel with RPG elements, which isn't bad. I mean, I don't usually care for visual novels, honestly. The last one being House of Fata Morgana was the only visual novel I actually reviewed and played and actually really enjoyed. This game's definitely up there. Unknown. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Think of that body, forget that body, think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in, behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dilute nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful. Not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There's no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited, and once you had the itch to get out, by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft, drift away in the chaos, slip into cargo processing, seal yourselves into containers, then just hope the freighter left before you were missed. Some were lost in the shaft. Others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers. But the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. Wait for the cold, try to rest. But you were restless, and it's been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You were dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering, so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect the sensors. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer until in a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You are out. Okay, so here is. Well, that's the beginning of this game. Here's the first 5 minutes. Yeah, this game is pretty cool. It's got a great story, and we're going to continue a little bit more here. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You're slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thawed yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. You frames must have better perseverance than Sub-Zero Vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes, the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to raise expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he's just figuring out what to do with you. I plan to survive. What happened to them? Stay silent. Plan to survive. You aren't sure if he hears you. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you were just software, a rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells, the promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S and ARP wants to protect their property. But if they can't keep hold of you, well, then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers, planned obsolescence. It built independence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them, and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away, towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion, fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. All right. You head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Drago stalks back to the Rex. His drones already converging on a rushing Hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Okay, well that's gonna be how I'm gonna end the review here. Uh, Again, a visual novel that is very interesting, very well written, and a very, very good interactive visual novel for sure. Um, I want to thank the publisher for the very vicinity. This definitely exceeded my expectations. If you don't like visual novels, I encourage you to check this game out. It is really, really well written and really, really good. If you like visual novels, you'll love this game. It's got some great dialogue, um, great interactive elements. Definitely one I'd recommend. Again, Citizen Sleeper on Xbox One. It is currently on Game Pass, so you can't get it for free if you are, or you can't get it with Game Pass if you're a Game Pass subscriber. Definitely worth a download. Definitely worth a purchase outside of Game Pass as well. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. As always, till next time. Take care and happy gaming.